Hey guys, good morning. Not showing my screen. Let's fix this. Let's do this. Mechanics. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Done. There. Now that should be showing. Hopefully that's showing. Okay. So, good morning. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching, doing the market preview for 9/12/2024. Okay. So, guys, I do this every day. You know, which trade should we step into? Which trade should we not step into? So on and so forth, and how do we make money? So, obviously, yesterday was straight up. I have no idea today if today is straight up or straight down, and I want to cover a completely different topic, right? So I showed you how to find the low volume nodes off the 30-minute profile. Now I'm going to show you how to do the low volume nodes off the waves. Okay, and the reason it's important is because when it comes back to test both the point of control and the low volume nodes, it sets up good trades, like this one right here. Right, so I'm going to show you how to get it. Okay, so if you'll look at this chart, and I would suggest you draw the waves off the 24 just because it's more stable, right? And gives you more information. Like you don't want, when you're looking at volume, you actually want the lowest bar you can go to while still getting the information that you need. Okay, so let me erase all volume profiles. There we go. So when you look at this wave, so econ comes out and we start getting hammered down, and this is the wave into the low, right? Everyone can hear me, volume, audio, all that's good, correct? Everyone now should have that. It's called the POC 30-minute POC profile or something like that. Everyone should have that. Okay, so here's the wave to the low. We've done this before, right? You'll notice all I went back into the settings and highlighted value area low and value area high. I do the whole wave, right? So there's lots of ways to do this, but damn, I didn't hit set defaults. So let's go fix this. Hold on. No. Let's go fix this real quick. Study settings. A world of algas. I'll be cleaning that up. Okay, so let's go to highlight. Extend value area. Okay. Highlight point of control. Yes. Extend point of control. Um, okay. That's kind of how I want it to look, right? So it's showing me where the high and low is of the peaks and valleys in this, right? It's basically highlighting where my low volume nodes are, right? So the gray is value area high, value area low, and then these are where the low volume nodes are, is what it's highlighting on both sides. Okay? So what's important here? right? So obviously if you look at this chart, you want the same concept. So I want one of two things. I either want it to bounce off the volume point of control, which clearly it did not in this case, or I want it to come down below value area low, right, into a low volume node, which gives me this choice and this choice right here, right? You'll see it actually highlights where the low volume points are on this chart. And if you look how the wave treated that, like, so this is basically treat this as a, Joyce, I'll have to look at it. I think it's like 41, 42. Let's see if I can find it really quick. 32. 34, 42. If you want to change it to yellow, 34, 42. So, so when I look at this, right, see how it comes down into this low volume node, right? And then where does it travel, right? So look, it comes back, doesn't use the point of control, goes to the low volume node. If I come over here and look at the bar, right, what bar am I looking for? The bar with the point of control outside the body, that bar, or the algo, plus sign down. So what this is someone tried to shove. You literally can see that they're putting volume back in to this hole, right? That's what the market chose to do. When the market reversed here, right, market reversed, again, arrow down, purple bar, reversed in a 3-bar combo, point of control outside, lifted. That was at 735. Where did it go? Came up to the single print right over here, right, showing you where the lowest volume is. It's literally pointing it out, right? Came right up to it, rejected out of it, point of control outside, plus sign, and the 3-bar combo. I don't necessarily trade those, but I do trade. I am looking for this point of control to be outside because it gives me consistency, right? You can see all night. Look, point of control outside, lift, point of control outside, lift, point of control outside, lift. Now add your algos, right? Add your algos that you want to see with that type of bar, right? So if you look, it pushed all the way down. So how do I figure out whether I want to map this one or I want to map this one? Well, I want to map this one because it's the push to the low. So at the high, right, I would have wanted to do something like this. So see how this was the wave to the high right here? Okay, there's the wave to the high. There's my point of control. There's value area high, value area low, and there's the volume build right in there. And I want it to come off of one of two places, right? Either the point of control, right? So you'll see that it fell shy of the point of control, or this little area right up there because that's where all the volume is, and you'll see that's where it rejected out of. Couldn't get the point of control above. Purple bar, point of control was inside. I would have missed that had I been here to trade it. It was 7:30, so it doesn't matter, right? So let me show you from yesterday. Right, so now we have two ways of finding volume. So see this giant push? I want to show you how it looked off the low. And the other thing I want to say yesterday in general, when you see a market reverse 200 points like all of a sudden, don't try to short it, guys. You will hate life. I'm just telling you, you're going to hate life. Okay? It sucks. It's terrible. I don't know what else to say. It just sucks. Right? That reversal sucked. It gave you no second chance. And if you sit there and fight it, you're just going to get your ass beat like a drum. Okay? So this is what I would have done. I would have marked off this one because it's the wave to the low, right? So you'll see I get an impulse move up and then a wave down. Notice where did it come to? Both the low volume area and the point of control, right? And I would have looked for or would have wanted a point of control up. I also would have marked this wave off. Why? Because this one had all the volume in it. Okay? So it's a little bit of an art form. I understand that. If you need a black and white answer, it's the last wave. Okay? Here's the point of control, right? So you had one point of control here, one point of control here, and you can clearly see there's a low volume node sitting right there. They just did not come back and fill that back in. They came back, right? Then you get this impulse move, right? So this is supernova, but this is your impulse move, right? So if I just look at how the volume lays out in it, right? So look what it did. Here's the point of control all the way up at the high, right? Here's the low volume node. And what I would have said had I been in the room is I would have said this would be the best place to get tested. But you can see that it clearly did not test it, right? What it did was it came back down to value area low. And I would have said, in fairness, I don't want to trade here. I want to trade here. So what happened? Well, what happened was the market reversed hard. And what you're seeing is a change in sentiment. So I want to give you an example of that. Okay? A change in sentiment is okay, let's say it's Christmas time, right? Let's say it's Christmas time and there's some hot, super hot video game that all your kids want, and we're going to pretend they still sell video games in stores, okay? So you're going to Target and you're like, they have thousands of them. We'll just go in and grab one, right? No problem. I'm going to have my coffee, eat my breakfast, get the kids dressed. We'll go there 10:30, 11 o'clock, right? So it's 7 in the morning. You're making your plans, right? All of a sudden, beep, 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 you know, Atari has the inability to produce any more Super Mario Brothers, right? The ones in the stores are the last ones left for Christmas. If you're going to buy it, you need to go now. So before it was like, I'm just going to roll in at 10:30, right? And now it's like, holy shit, I got to get to the store, right? You get in the car, hair is going to be all messed up, and you're going to walk in and you're going to fight with 100 other people to get to the last video games because you don't want your kid to cry on Christmas Day, right? Okay. What this was is you have all day to buy. This is your casual blah, 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 and then this is like, oh shit, I need to get into this trade, right? So this was a weird day. You normally don't have this thing where the sentiment changes that quickly, but that's exactly what happened, right? And then if you look at the shorting, so I'm going to bring this in so you can see it. So first of all, when you look at that chart, right, volume exploded off the bottom. Exploded off the bottom, right? So let me show you. If I'm going to short, the first thing I'm going to say is I've got to get underneath the volume build, right? So you can see there, this is highlighting the low volume nodes right there. See that? Highlighting the low volume node. Highlighting the low volume node. Highlighting the low volume node. Here's the point of control. Now, if I'm going to short, what I want to do is I'm going to make that big, right? If I wanted to short that, I want to get underneath that. I want to come up and I want to get a signal to the short side. I clearly get no signal to the short side, right? I could have jacked this right here if I wanted to, but once you get back above this point of control, it's just going to go, right? So here's choice number 2. Watch how just look how it treats it, right? You don't have to overthink it. Just draw it out, right? And then choose whichever method works best for you. So there's the low volume nodes. You can see it just creates little zones for you. See that? It's just creating little zones, right? So what would I want to do in that situation? I need to see rejection underneath or right at this volume point of control to go lower. We get underneath, they get over, and you can see they do the opposite. They come down, hammer up, and continue, right? This zone's too high, so what am I always saying I want to do? I want to work through the high volume node to the low volume node. So this is my first choice. No reversal off of that one when it touches it. This is my second choice. It's highlighting it, right? There's my first reversal, right? 3-bar combo, no dice. It's the second one with the pink bar. Takes off. Now it does it again. Right? Just draw it. Just keep drawing it. You'll see the setup. There's your new zones. There's the high volume node. Remember, I want to drill through that high volume node, right? It can't get through the high volume node even. It doesn't even get down to, it gets to this low volume node right here, but it's this. It's kind of like this right here, and then this one all the way at the bottom, right? Okay, keep going. The other thing you'll notice is, like, see the size of that push? That's a big push down. You know if they get above that, all these guys that sold here have to cover. Assume that they're in bad position, right? We don't know. right? This could have just been the guy who bought at the low selling at the high. But just assume if you get over that, they're going to fuel it again. So now look at this. Look at this layout. Here, let me erase this for another 30-minute chart. So now look at this layout. Okay, here's my point of control. First thing I know is if we're going to go lower, I do not want to get back above it. I want to reject from it. So clearly, we didn't do that, right? There's no setup here, no rejection, right? As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. It gets above, push down, bar with a point of control outside, and it continues on its merry way. Where does it come back to? Okay, so I know I have low volume nodes here because the machine is freaking telling me I have low volume nodes. I don't even have to guess it. Does anyone want to know how to put that setting on there? Does anyone need to know how to put that setting on your profile? Okay, so the way you do that is you go Analysis, Studies, draw out a profile so it's already there. Okay, and you go to Settings. And you come all the way down. Okay, so write this down so you have the instructions. So I don't have to do it 3 times, right? Draw peaks and valleys, valleys only. Okay. Include high and low and peaks and valleys. Yes. Right? Extend peaks and valleys to end of period. So when you highlight it, it'll give you a message. And then that's it. Okay, and then to highlight the point of control is somewhere up here. It'll say extend, highlight value area, extend value area if you want, which is the gray lines, and then highlight the point of control and extend the point of control until future intersection, right? So, and then before you close it, this is the important part, so you don't have to do it 100 times, hit set defaults. So every time you draw it, that's how it'll draw, okay? So as it comes down, I know automatically, oh, there's my low volume nodes. So what am I doing next? I'm looking for my algo, right? I'm like, oh, I'm in the low volume node area. Look for the algo, right? Now, as I come up, right, if I want to be short again, right, so now watch it the other way. If I want to be long, right, I can use the information the other way. Watch. Who's stuck? Okay. There's your sellers, right? There's your sellers. So what do I want to see? I want to see a low volume node. But remember, I always have an overriding theme. I want to work through the volume, right? I want to work through the volume. So just because it notes it as a low volume node, right? I want to work through it and get on the other side. Well, in this case, all the volume's at the high, right? All the volume's at the high. Notice I don't get, maybe you would have called that a rejection. You got to stop if you did, right? And then when you're up above it, guess what? These are all sellers. You get above them, what do they have to do? Buy, right? So then you start the process over again. This is going into New York lunch is all we've done. There's all your low volume nodes, right? So what you'll see, we're above this high volume node. This one's pretty chopped up, right? Get above the high volume node, right? We come back down. See that low volume node right in there? Purple bar, point of control outside, not at the 4th channel, not ideal. If you had asked me when I'd seen this, and this is all I see, I would have said I would like to retest the volume point of control, right? That's a weird place to have a volume point of control. Oh, it's over here. I would like to retest the volume point of control or the low volume nodes underneath it, right? In which case, I just would have whiffed. That happens on days when the market just keeps going up, right? Secondly, if you see this, so then lastly, see that right there? I gave up. If y'all remember, I'm like, okay, that's crazy, right? But that's what it did, okay? That's what it did. No retrace. I do not know what happened yesterday. Like, why would we flip so hard is insane. In my book, but we did, right? So what do you want? There's not much you can do, right? So that's how it goes. So for today, right? What do I expect? Well, I would expect that we're going to get responsive buyers, right? So here, let me do this. So the first thing I see from the 30-minute profile is all the single prints are up here, right? I would guess when we get to the end of those single prints, I would highlight it kind of like this. And I'd go, when we get to the end of that, it's going to want to come back in and fill in the volume. And then right here. And that's all I'm going to worry about pre-market, right? I'm not going to worry about the rest of it. I'll just let them to decide. The other thing that'll help you, the other thing that will help you, right? Or underneath the 30-minute period, either way. And then you have some stuff right up here. There's some areas up here, okay? But let the market develop. I did not look to see if we have any more econ. I don't think we do. ECB press conference. Okay, at 7:45. That's going on now. Swiss National Bank Chairman Jordan speaks at 9:25. 30-year bond auction at 1 o'clock. That's semi-important. Okay. So, what am I going to do today? Right? I'm going to do the same thing I do every day. I'm going to look to get to those single print areas because that's how I've chosen to trade, right? There's other ways to do it. I want to be outside of these, right? I want to be outside of these areas, and I'll add the component of volume profile on the waves. Now, if you do not like the component, right? If you do not like the component of the waves, doing the waves, or you don't like the 30-minute one, just switch it around. Do whichever one suits you the best, right? But I will not enter without a point of control outside the bar. I'm just telling you right now. I will not enter without a bar outside the point of control. Why is it doing it like this? Let's see. There we go. So that's how I'll be drawing it. And obviously I'm going to burn the first 30 minutes. I want the point of control outside. Like, I can't stress that enough. I'd rather miss this, right? I want the point of control outside on the 24 tick. That's how I want to trade today. And I want to watch out for, and I want to trade in areas that have interest to me to trade. And if it's too damn fast, it's too damn fast. I'm going to minimize my 15 tick, okay, because it's not working for me right now. If it's working for you, that's great. I'm just getting chopped on it too hard, okay, and I'm using the 32 tick to keep up, and I need to fix that ES chart. Apologies, I will get to it, okay. I need to fix it so I get an area, and I'm skipping the first half hour. That's my formula, right? I just don't have to be involved. I just don't have to be involved right out of the gate. It looks like we're trapping back into that 30-minute period. So if I were to go long, arrow down, purple bar, point of control outside, right? That's my show. That's my deal. I would take that, right? That's how I trade, right? I would just do that. It wouldn't bother me, right? It's just how the thing works. So I'm all right with that. I would have taken that, win or lose, I would have taken that. And of course we're opening down when after running up. And potential open drive lower. What's new in this world? And that's purple bar diamond. That's usually extremely good. But who knows today? Purple bar, diamond, outside of the channel, and that's what you get out of that. It's a very good setup. Okay, now I have a wave to the low. I can go see, if you don't like the 30-minute, draw it off the profile. There's your point of control, right? You can clearly see where the low volume nodes are on the bottom. It's highlighting them, right? So there's clearly behind that point of control, if it comes back down, somewhere between 56 and 46, and it would also form a head and shoulders. And the best one's all the way down there at the bottom. There's no volume. See that? So that trade, right, purple bar diamond went 25 to 73. That should make your day for most people. Okay? I want to say that again. That should make your day for most people. Make sense, guys? Nate, does that trade make sense to you? Now we're at the low volume node up here, right? All the way on top. We've worked all the way through. I would expect rejection somewhere in here. If I wanted to short, which I don't, I'd want the point of control outside to take that trade. And now I can look at the 30-minute to keep perspective of what the heck is going on. Okay, see that bar with the point of control outside? If I was looking for the reversal, I'd be just fine taking that bar. Just fine, right? My stop would be at 31 approximately, right? That's how I would do it. It's a 50-60 retrace. You can just visually see that's what it retraced to, right? They're going to fill in volume in this low volume node most likely, right here, which is what they're doing. They're filling in volume, and then they're going to decide, they're going to come back up, put volume in here, or put volume in here, or test down here. And obviously, if I were going to pick a place, I'd pick either below that low or right in here. As my most ideal location. You'll notice they still didn't get to that low volume node up on top. and I'm always trading against what came up, right? So I'm trading against that push down, okay? And if you'll look at the daily over here, you'll see we're just at the top of this push here. Look at that. We haven't even taken out the last 30-minute low period there, right? Like you have to get lower to take that out. I think we just took out Globex low. I'd say it needs to peekaboo its head right above that. There's the volume. Now we'll see if it comes down and gets back below it. If it does, there's the rejection. Now what would I want here if I wanted to trade? Well, first of all, I would have preferred to have a pink bar within 2 bars of that rejection. If it's going to reject, I want the point of control outside. I want the bar to close down. I am not trading the first 30 minutes, obviously. So see how the point of control is outside? It's barely outside, but that would be enough for me to go, okay, at least that's the minimum of what I'm looking for to get my trade, right? At least that's the minimum of what I'm looking for. Now, after yesterday's run-up, you're going to have to show me some weakness in this thing. Like, get below yesterday's last 30-minute period. I don't want to short the high. Why? Even if it works, it's just too freaking hard, man. How many of us have been there where you're like, stop, 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 stop. Let it express itself somehow. And don't be surprised, this is for me particularly, if we sweep 500 million points in one direction, right? So there, one to short, apex trap, point of control outside, didn't have all the requirements I wanted, but it came up into the low volume node there. So now what's left to take care of? We've obviously filled in volume here. This needs to be taken care of, right? And we're still inside the first opening rotation. Head and shoulders up there, obviously off the 24. Okay, see that bar? I'd be willing to short that, right? The point of control is outside, it rejected out of that area. if I was looking to short. So all I'm teaching here is what the bar that I want to look like for entry. See how I had a pink dot on it, had volume on it, point of control is outside. That's all scalping for me, right? I'm not calling a direction here. The market's obviously still in bull mode. Look, we haven't even pulled down a drop from yesterday. We're still above yesterday's last 30 minute low, right? Like there's no sellers here, right? The market's just rotating is all it's doing, which is great. We're forming a wedge there, quite obviously, with an upside bias. If I were super aggressive, I'd go long that bar. Stop 54. 68.54. I'm not taking it. But outside of 9 o'clock, I'd look for that bar, especially in Supernova. It's in the middle of the channel, therefore super aggressive. That would have lifted only one bar and stopped me out. Okay, so you have to be willing to take the stop. So again, ideal. Outside this area, we're just chopping, right? It's not even falling apart. Keep your balance there. We're not even underneath the last 30 minutes here, right? We're underneath Globex low, obviously, but the market's showing no inclination to do anything consistently. There we go. See that gray area? That's where those single prints are on a 30-minute chart. So you would expect, right? You would expect that they'll respond from that area. Now you need the evidence that they'll respond. What am I looking for? I'd like a purple bar on the 24 tick within 2 bars of the reversal bar and the point of control outside. All I got was the point of control outside. I had the area right. I've got the point of control outside. I don't have the purple bar and I don't have the algo. Right? So all I have is that. That is it. Right? So I would sit there and wait patiently, right? And let it reset for me until I get, and then ultimately what I want, all the pieces. There's the low. There's the single print. Did it respond? Yes, but without the algo. It gave me most of what I want. So if I took this long right here, I'd already scale off half right here, move my stop to break even, and hope that it just rips. Right, so that's enough to stop me out on that trade because I wanted to do this. Bam, 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 bam. Okay? It's called trading with precision. Not now, if you want to deleverage, sure, just use these all day and wait, and it'll push to the other side. But if you're going to trade leverage, you need to get it off right there. Like it should have gone. Right? So now I've taken out the low behind here. Right? Purple bar with algo. The reversal will not come within 3 bars, right? Within 2 bars. So I won't have a 3-bar combo. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to wait. I can also see the volume's not very big on this push down. And I'm still, so maybe I am now. Let's see. Still not taking out the low of the last 30 minutes to check up on price over here. So I still have a ways to go. Now I have diamond, but no purple bar. It's an apex trap. I would take that as a 1-bar stop, right? I would take that as a 1-bar stop if it was after 9 o'clock, right? And whether I get stopped or not doesn't matter, right? That would be part of my process. So if you need to tighten the screws on that process, go, I need a purple bar within 2 bars to be able to take that. That would be a stop, which is why I don't trade it at 9:30 in the morning, right? That is what we're trying to reproduce over and over and over again. You have precision, you have location, and then what you've got to decide for yourself is what exactly you want to see, right? So there's the purple bar, right? I'd go, oh, purple bar. I would already put my limit in to go long if I were trading at 1908. Now I'd put it at 202.75, right? Because when it reverses, right, it's going to rip so fast that it won't fill me as it goes through, right? So 202.75. And I'm hoping that point of control stays out at the bottom. I have all the pieces that I want there. It won't be an apex trap, but it'll be valid for a reversal. And if this bar prints, I'm just going to pull my order because I've got nothing. Right? So 84 prints, I'll pull my order. If 84 doesn't print, I've got 02.75 for the long. Again, I'm not trading this. I'm just pointing it out. I'll trade after 9 o'clock. And I'd like to get underneath that 30-minute section down there. I would be long that. Okay, now it's likely to stop here because it's in the chop and pop hour, right? But I would be long that bar anytime after 9 o'clock. Scale, stop to break even. I know I'll get stopped at the break even a lot, right? I'm scalping this. I'm not stopped. I'd be stopped on balance. If you don't like that, then put the stop where you need to put the stop to let the trade survive. You could take the 5 points that scale is approximately and go, okay, I entered at 02, stop 96.75, right? It can't have a down bar. That's the other way to treat that. Just because I do it one way doesn't mean it's the right way to do it, right? Just because I don't do it one way. I happen to be trading that with a lot of leverage. I don't want to get smoked with a lot of leverage, right? If I de-lever, I can change my stop status on how I want to handle it. But I know what I'm looking for and where I'm looking for it, right? And all I want to do is freaking lift, so maybe I need to put my stop, right, on this first bar. I have an example, so now I can use the data, right? So that was where I would have put my stop, and this says I need my stop here. So maybe I need to put my stop -3 or -4, right, underneath that wick right there, and go for net break even, because obviously that just popped 02 to 37, right? But these are all things you can think through and make decisions on, right? It had everything I wanted: purple bar, arrow down, yellow dot, reversal. I know when I get behind the point of control of the yellow dot that's usually pretty powerful. So maybe I need to modify how I'm using my leverage and not be as leveraged, right? So maybe it's -5 from my entry after I get my first scale. But I promise you there'll still be stops on that. There's no doubt in my mind. Okay? But I end up at net 0, right? The only place I get hurt is on this bar right here, where there's no lift. There's one bar in here where there's just no lift. If I don't get one bar up, right? If I don't get one bar up, I'm smoked on that trade, and then I'll have to have a bunch of other trades to make up for the loss, because it's going to be a 18-point stop, right? And I'm getting 5, 5, 5 on my first lift. So the only place to do is if I get the bar and then it slams down like that, which is why you can only take 2 stops like that in a row. Okay, and then you have to stop. So my suggestion is you have to be careful where it's long liquidating, I guess is what would it be, is what I would say. And now if I wanted to see for the retest, right, I would draw it like this. There's this, right? So there's all my low volume nodes, the biggest one being up here, right? I wouldn't have shorted this because the point of control is not outside. Point of control is not outside. And now we continue on our merry way. Now that high volume node's probably my target right there. It's going to shift through here, tab the 19,267, and I would expect rejection from that area. And now I would need the rest of the pieces, right? Point of control has to be outside. If I thought I was going to reject here, I have the pink bar. So it may not make it to the point of control. The best one's the one that physically touches it. But I can see the point of control is going to land outside. I'll limit 50.75. I'm not trading this example, right? 50.75 there. I would short that. Pink bar, point of control outside, heavy scale, -5, right? That's my process, okay? But I chose to take these out and not get to the volume point of control yet. Is this helping or too much, guys? It's just another way to use the profile versus using it on the 30-minute bars. Randy, is this better than the 30-minute? For you? And now, see how that's an impulse wave up? See how much bigger that volume wave is than everything else? I would not want to short against that until I got underneath it, right? So what I would do is I would take my DVP, and I'm going to profile that. Okay, there's my low volume nodes. So this is an area, this is an area, and I can see specifically, right? I can see specifically where I want to be in those areas, and this is an area, right? So they create little zones. See how we're filling in the volume here? It made it past the other side of the high volume node, right? And now it's choosing to stop. This whole thing is clearly a low volume node. This is a lower volume node. See how it's lower than the prior, right? So this would be area 2. That also coincides with the 50-60 retrace. This is about the 50 and this is about the 62. Funny how that lines up, huh? Cool. So now I'm looking for the same things in here, right? Purple bar or algo. You can substitute algo on the way down. Point of control outside. Reversal for retest of high, right? That's right. Is this job good for you? You want my job? So see that arrow down? See that point of control way down? I would limit 38.75 or 39 by stop. Target would be to take out that apex up at the high or revisited the point of control. Now, if I needed a bigger litmus test, so that would be long for me. And my target would be 45. Stop would be at the low. Of that bar. That would be scale 1. Well, if it would print. There's scale 1. Now you can either do -5. There would be scale 2 for me. And then 3 is push it to the high. Okay. And there goes the run up to the point of control. I would exit the trade there. That would be a short for me. Pink bar, bar down. That would be a valid short for me. With a point of control outside. Again, scale 1, scale 2, push. Or whatever your size is and adjust. Joshua, making sense? Exactly how we covered it in coaching. And up to check out on that 78 and IB high. Arrow up, pink bar, point of control outside. That would be valid for me as well. And I'd obviously be out of that trade now. And we still haven't taken out the low, the last 30 minutes from yesterday. Right? So is it bearish? No. Okay, so just before we get to 9 o'clock, I need to reset a layout that I have, so I'm going to do that right now. File, save all. So my screen's going to freeze for a minute. Just thinking about it. I need to kill this. Hold on one sec. There we go. See how he finally came back, worked all the way through, low volume node right up there, projection. Pink bar, yellow dot, pointing control outside, roll down, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. Now, the reason I'm not drawing out all these waves is I really want the big waves, right? I don't really want to draw out the profiles of the tiny waves. So you know, I'm about to switch over my. So this account's at, I was wrong. It's at $4,000, not $1,500. Because I forgot I traded last night too. It doesn't. Anyways, it's at $4,000. So. And hey guys on YouTube, thanks for joining us.